Brian Ricco sitting here with Craig DeGeorge, and we've got Colonel DeBeers, the despicable one from South Africa, coming off his strap match at Beach Brawl recently. And Colonel, again, this match was formulated because of your questionable activity inside and outside of the ring. You had your type of match with a strap match, and Orndorff was the victor.
You know, it was still American-type justice. There's only two great institutions in America right now. Colonel DeBeers is one of them. I'm an institution. The other one is the Los Angeles Police Department and Chief Daryl Gates. They're the only two institutions in this country to be looked up to and saluted for a job well done. And before you start to question me, you're out of uniform, both of you. So let's get in order and get in line here.
Mr. DeBeers, Colonel, if you will, please. You know, throughout your time here at the UWF, you've been called despicable, disgusting by some. What is your reaction when you hear people call you that?
You know how to spell Colonel DeBeers? H-E-R-O. He is the one that's definitely going to lead the United States of America out of their difficult times. Your Congress now is trying to pass laws, quotas. Those kind of laws would never stand up in South Africa. I'm going to do what I can, even though I'm only here on a green card, to help to defeat a quota bill. Now you might ask, what has that got to do with the world of professional wrestling
what has
and
that
the
got
sport
to do with
of
the
wrestling?
World of professional wrestling?
It's got a great deal to do with it. You know, Mr. Black, a man that I hired out of the goodness of my heart.
We didn't see him at Beach Brawl.
And you'll never see him again. The man was lazy, insolent, was always complaining that he didn't have enough money. I wasn't paying him enough. I had to let the man go. And now they're trying to attach my wages to pay for his welfare. I'm not paying for his Cadillac and his wine. If you Americans want to, go right ahead. Let your tax dollars take care of it.
But he was doing everything for you, from washing your car, getting your clothing ready, bringing you to the ring, making sure you're on time. And this is the way you treat an employee?
Sir, I'm a South African. You know, we have one of the finest standards of living in the world. You Americans, by comparison, are actually second class. And you're now falling to third behind the Europeans.
If we could touch on one other thing, Colonel DeBeers. If I
touch on whatever you like.
Oh, thank you. If I recall something, you said you were going to publicly embarrass Mr. Wonderful. Not just defeat him, but embarrass Mr. Wonderful in the Beach Brawl.
Well, I think that it stands to reason that that man probably hasn't been spanked and hasn't felt the lash since he was a young lad. I would venture to say that from his actions, his father never strapped him. His father never disciplined him. But Colonel DeBeers, even though there wasn't a slash in the victory column, there were plenty of slashes across Mr. Orndorff's backside. And when you bring someone up for a public flogging like I gave him, it's got to be embarrassing.
Let's go back to the reason why this whole match came about. It was back in March in Florida, where you had a victory. The guy was laid out on the canvas, and to add insult, you strapped him outside the ring. The match was won. All you had to do was pack your bags and go home.
Yeah.
But
you had to add insult.
That's right. You've got to rub salt in the wound, so not only does the opponent remember, but all America remembers.
Oh, Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff
This is the way that we treat underachievers in South Africa. If they don't measure up, you get the public flogging.
But you have to give them the chance to achieve, and you don't do that. You don't give them the chance to achieve.
That man that you brought up in particular had every opportunity to train as hard as Colonel DeBeers. He had every opportunity, did he not, to avail himself to all methods of training.
Until the end of the match, perhaps.
And then, next time I bet one thing.
What's that?
That he will train a little bit harder if he's coming to see Colonel DeBeers.
It's if he can wrestle again after the choking and the humiliation in front of those fans. I mean,
You don't have to have a clip of that, do you? I'd like to see that again, and I think you people out there should enjoy it too. I'd rather enjoy to see that again.
I think we'll get another look at it. Let me ask you another question. What do you think of a man like Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
You know, I'm really not too much up on American history, but I believe he was the one that freed the slaves.
Yes, he did.
You know, in South Africa, we've never had slaves. We've just had hordes and hordes of very inexpensive labor.
Inexpensive labor.
Inexpensive labor.
How inexpensive?
Well, I think we can get a domestic for 35 rand a month. You know, that's someone to
35
live
rand?
in, and much 35 rand a month. Yes.
What is 35 rand, sir?
Well, it's about $17
$17 a month?
a month. Yes. But don't forget, he's getting a meal, one meal a day. Plus, if he's lucky, I'll give him a little pivo. That's a malt beverage that they get intoxicated on.
It's very tasty.
Well, I wouldn't think so. No, the hogs won't eat it.
You describe your colonel's outfit with all the medals. I mean, did you actually win? Did you win?
Every one of those has a great significance. And as I told the man earlier, you know, to put everything that I've achieved on this one garment would be impossible. I mean, as it is, these medals are heavy enough. The normal man couldn't possibly.
Could you pick out one?
Oh, anyone here? This one here was one in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, you know, what is now Rhodesia,
Yes.
or what was Rhodesia. And this one was for bravery, never running in the face of the enemy.
Bravery.
Bravery. This
Anything
one over
else?
here was for valor.
Valor.
Yes. There was a whole squadron held up by a bunch of jungle savages, bush savages, Zulus. I came in, liberated those men.
Now you wear them obviously with great pride.
Oh, a great deal of pride, because I'm proud of my achievements and I'm proud of the achievements of the South African government.
You're standing almost alone in that. But I guess you like standing alone, Colonel DeBeers.
A man who stands alone and can tell the rest of the world that they're wrong knows he's right.
There's a different scenario with Beach Brawl. Let's get back to the Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff match, a match, as we said earlier.
Let's not go into him anymore. It's a known fact that the only reason that I did not cause the man to bleed severely was because he has already tested positive for HIV. I did not want to subject those people sitting ringside, those young children there, to the HIV virus. Otherwise, I believe Mr. Orndorff would have. You talk about the good-heartedness of Colonel DeBeers.
I didn't talk about the good-heartedness.
And I don't think the fans were too pleased at all, judging by the faces around ringside.
I saved them all from the HIV virus.
You're a sick man.
Quite an accusation. Sure, Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff wouldn't like to hear that.
Shall we continue with this?
If you want.
Where is your future in the UWF now?
Where's my future?
Yeah, where are you going in the
Nothing
UWF?
but the top. No matter where I go. I don't care if it's the UWF or any other wrestling organization throughout the world. The name Colonel DeBeers means one thing. That means top quality wrestler and top quality wrestling. That's all you're ever going to see from me. I expect nothing from the best from myself.
Thank you, Colonel. We appreciate it.
As you were.